Que a gente postou o vídeo do seu respondendo perguntas. Vamos ver então. Cadê? Esse aqui? Não. Esse aqui é
Yeah, what's
É tudo aqui mesmo no Twitter? Não é no
that?
Twitter.
Cascade. Is that a thing? Is that real? I didn't really intend. I didn't really watch CBLOL because the average schedule of a busy professional during the year is that he's always limited on time. Generally, watch the most, I would say, competitive leagues per se, and during this off season, going to CBLOL was actually not on my radar at all because when you go to a minor region, or it's surprising that Brazil is a minor region, but if you go to a minor region per se, it's very hard to make it back into the majors, well, historically speaking. So, yeah, never really considered going to CBLOL. Where I changed my mind was I got a bunch of
O Pira começou no Brasil, foi lá e, mano, fez coisa pra caralho. Então, dá sim. Dá.
direct messages from Brazil. Peter had always talked good about Brazil, although I had refused to watch the region. So then I started to, explore the opportunities. I did like a business analysis of the future of CBLOL, what I think the region would look like in 10 years, like economic status of Brazil in general, as well as like what kind of disposable income are we looking at? Therefore, how much more business is going to flow into the region? How does the price of the Brazilian real impact the business opportunity in Brazil, for example, foreign investment? And then viewership. So me coming to CBLOL started off with a little bit of a joke. Never considered it. Never really had to. I had options elsewhere. But then it ended up being, wow, well, actually, this is a fantastic opportunity. I think that this region is amazing. And maybe it's a great way for me to build something exciting much earlier than where I think CBLOL will be. I think we're still really early on in esports in Brazil. So yeah, even when you just look at CS, I think that it's growing year by year. So that's kind of how I started to consider going to Brazil. But after that, I was like, let's go. This is the place I need to go. I think I can bring a lot of value. So that's why I decided to come to Brazil. I think what makes me unique is personality-wise, I'm a systems coach. I'm a very strict systems coach. I think naturally have a little bit of arrogance and ego, which has its positives, but I think it's more of a limitation and an issue. Where that helps is that it helps me lead players in a way where I think players have historically enjoyed that kind of upfront leadership when it comes to like conflict resolution. But I really think my methodology defers to other people because I don't see my strengths per se, or you could call it weaknesses. Well, in my case, I think it's a weakness as a limitation, and I constantly work towards what I think is an ideal leader. Right, a meritocracy based system, an environment where everyone can speak, where everyone feels like they're cared for, listened to, where everyone is built up, not beat down about how bad they are or anything like that. Right, where they can build their confidence, and I think that's one of my main strengths. Right, I don't see my natural personality as something that I will like massively leverage, but rather something that needs to be worked on and something that can be balanced through other means. So and it's created this like nice system where we're kind of rigid, structured, but also fluid, where people are able to express their opinions, where people are able to play their best, express their skill, take risks. Well, I'm a really big meat eater, so I really enjoy. I've really enjoyed Brazilian cuisine in general. I've already had churrasco in Seoul. So I'm really excited to have that in Brazil. And what makes Brazil really amazing for me is like how big it really is. People don't realize how big Brazil really is until they do the research. So you guys have amazing seafood as well. I love seafood. Definitely excited to try, all the classics, pastel, coxina.
O cara quer ir pra comer, né, velho?
Coxinha. Yeah, there we
Tá
go.
certo ele.
Your feijoada in Brazil itself. Very excited to try that out. But also excited to try out like local delicacies, going out to street food. I think that food and language make up like 70% of a culture. And that's something that I really want to expose myself to. So super excited about that. I think that the French league is quite strong. Quite often it's almost made up exclusively of ex-LEC players or LEC level players in general. When you look at the LFL, so Smiley has always been, top 3 in that region when he was playing there. He was the LFL champion in 2020. And most recently, he made finals in Winter Cup for Germany. It was considered one of the strong pieces there. So I think that relative to CBLOL, it's similar. Maybe a little worse, just because I think top talent outclasses a lot of the talent there, right? These kind of players, I think, would fare well in LFL, would be, near the top of the ERLs. So yeah, I don't think that, LFL is better than CBLOL by any means. I think maybe it's a little bit worse, but Smiley has been near the top there for a while. That's how he's fared. No, I mean, I expected it. I think most people in esports want instant results for two reasons. One is the economic model of esports in general right now is very, very top heavy. So what this means is like, if you don't succeed at the top, you don't generate enough revenue to make your team operable. Bottom teams really struggle, so they're either burning a boatload of money or they're fielding really bad teams. And the second is, in terms of a fan perspective, when they're investing a significant amount of capital from a team side to bring on a foreign coach, that's supposedly hyped, that's supposedly amazing. People can see it as an excuse, or people can see it as a, how do I say it? Meet their expectations. Of course, everyone is very competitive in Brazil. I think the esports culture carries over from football. So they're crazy over there about that, right? But for me, my preconditions to coming to Brazil in the first place was that I could have a long-term project. Relative to budget, is a 2 to 5 year project something that makes sense for the organization? I would say yes, right? Because if you're spending about 5th and 6th, you should not expect anything more than that from a business projection perspective. So that's the counter argument there. And number two is when it comes to the fans wanting immediate results. I think it's understandable. But it's something that esports will have to grow out of. What you see, for example, in pain gaming is esports heritage in a way, right?
Is that a fucking José Mourinho quote? Right there. Temos o nosso José Mourinho no Brasil. Many Man. Já pode tocar aqui? Ele tá tentando ser o Special One. Eu tô vendo isso aí, velho. Eu tô vendo isso aí. Aí, quando o time perder, ele vai dar cara, vai falar merda, vai tomar o hate, o time dele lá tranquilo. Temos um José Mourinho. Ele já tá trabalhando a mídia pra ser o foco do time. I see you, bro. I see. Predestinado. I think I'm a special one.
Esports heritage, if you use football terms, same for like, some of the previous top teams in the past.
Opa.
Right, what you're seeing in their coaching staff, their methodology, their structure, being able to make finals this many years in a row, that's esports heritage.
Eu escrevi certo, cara. Special.
Their name, their fandom, that's esports heritage. Cade missed that opportunity by missing out on franchising. So what we need to do is we need to build a team that people want to come to, or it's going to be extremely expensive to sign talent in the future. That's a fact. People don't want to join teams without a name. And in fact, people will take big pay cuts to join a team they think is reputable, has a lot of fans that will help grow their brand. Because in this industry, salary is a very small part of your net worth as an athlete or as a coach. So part of my goal at Cade is, okay, if I leave, will I have good coaching staff that can take over when I leave? Hence why I would only hire a Brazilian. If I leave, can I create a team culture that can perpetuate, so continue after I leave? That's the point of signing Smiley and not getting in a career in Eddie Carey. And if I leave, will Cade continue to have a legacy 10, 20, 30 years down the line? That's the goal, right? And we want to start now, and I want to be remembered for starting that now. Yeah, so yeah, I definitely did expect it, but I think I had very good reasons for doing what I'm doing. And, I've never really been afraid of criticism or hate, so yeah, there you go. The first thing I want to say is I really, really appreciate the support that you guys are giving both myself and the players as well as the team. It's never really easy to support a team that hasn't brought you a championship in a while, or that hasn't necessarily had the best results. And you guys sticking by the organization is what allows it to succeed. And the truth is, all competitive games, sports, esports, relies on you guys to function. So really appreciate that. And we're going to do our best to make it up to you. I know On social media, I can be an erratic figure. I can be someone that is constantly joking around and having fun, but behind the scenes in the locker room when we're actually working, it really isn't the case. We're going to be putting, blood, sweat, tears every second of our day with the mindset that every single thing we do, either from the way that we wake up in the morning, what we eat for breakfast, how we click, how we think, how we talk to each other. Every little thing matters in competition, and we're really going to make sure that every single part of our lives is going to be dedicated to competition and improving and to bringing you guys the results that you really want. If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't exist. We wouldn't exist. Just once again, thank you very much. maybe I was not smiling enough.
Tu não engana ninguém, coreano. O primeiro perdido que tu der na Augusta, nunca mais tu vai ver uma sala de treino. Não engana ninguém. Primeiro perdido na Augusta, mano. Não quero mais treinar. Um bloco por dia, partiu rave. Ah, engana ninguém, velho. Engana ninguém. Entrega as taças. Dito skate 1.15. Maldade, cara. Maldade.